Peter Block at TCT 2015 for On the Scene, and with me is Howard Herman from the University of Pennsylvania. Howard's an old friend. Actually trained Howard.
You did.
About 1,000 years ago. In any case, Howard has now just presented Sapien 3. So Howard, this is transcatheter aortic valve replacement. Once again, new product, new device, and now 1-year follow-up. So tell me about the data in Sapien 3 and tell me why this is an important part of what we're doing with TAVR.
Great, thank you, Peter. Sapien 3 is really the absolute newest generation, a third generation of the balloon expandable platform, and it really has some very novel features, particularly the sealing skirt around the outside. It's very low profile, low height. It's a cobalt chromium bovine pericardial device, and we've really seen incredibly nice and successful outcomes in the short term. So what we presented here are the 1-year outcomes in high-risk and inoperable patients, for a total of 583 of them.
So let me just interrupt and say, this has been an approved device now, approved on the basis of 30-day data.
Correct, but we didn't have any longer-term outcome data from good trials, so this is the first time we're seeing the 1-year all-cause mortality in this group of high-risk and inoperable patients.
Okay, short version then, tell me about stroke, tell me about mortality, tell me why this is sort of an important trial.
Sure. So we enrolled 583 patients. 2/3 of them were high risk and 1/3 were inoperable patients. And the all-cause mortality, the survival was 87%. An all-cause mortality of 13% at 1 year. And it got better as we looked at the transfemoral group and the high-risk group. And together the transfemoral, which is the majority of the patients, about 84%, and the high-risk subset, which is really where we mostly use the device, had an 89% survival at 1 year. So only an 11% mortality, very low rates of stroke, 2.4% for major disabling stroke at 1 year, and very low rates of paravalvular leak. We're all worried about paravalvular regurgitation as a predictor of outcome. There were no severe paravalvular leaks, and the overall rate of moderate paravalvular leak was a low 2.7%.
Well, I have two comments on that. Number one, I mean, those are extraordinarily low mortality and all-cause mortality statistics. When I look back at Partner 1, it's really quite extraordinary how much better we've become.
It's a 50% reduction in mortality and stroke compared to Partner 1.
Yeah. So we're way ahead of the game compared to what we were 7 years ago. And I guess the important thing that's different about this device is the skirt and the lack of paravalvular leak. Trace paravalvular leak being there, but certainly mild, moderate, and severe, almost zero, correct?
Correct. There were no severe paravalvular leaks. Moderate was, as I said, 2.7%. Mild was about 30%. But importantly, a difference in this trial than some of the earlier partner trials is that mild paravalvular leak did not appear to be associated with all-cause mortality as it had been in some of the earlier trials and some of the European registries. So that's sort of a unique finding here.
Do you have any idea of why that should be, Howard?
I think it's a combination of lower overall mortality, better sealing, and I think just as we get to lower risk patients, we're going to see less effect of these mild paravalvular leaks on their overall outcome.
Well, for those of you who are sending patients off for TAVR or sending them to Howard or to me or wherever it is that they're doing TAVR, this is an important long-term follow-up or at least 1-year follow-up of data. We know that P3 has been approved, but this is reassuring, certainly gives us a lot lower mortality, and I think we have an important product going forward.
If I can add a last word, I think what it really shows is these excellent outcomes with Sapien 3 really make TAVR the preferred strategy in high-risk and inoperable patients.
So that should do it for the folks at the aortic stenosis. Good news. Thank you, Howard.